Big laugh.
Hi, kiddos.
Hey, welcome to Movies and Chill. Full house tonight. Got 5 gentlemen in the room.
5 guys.
5 of us. It's because we're talking about something near and dear to our hearts. The best movies in the world.
Kinda.
And why is there a basketball hoop right here? Great question, because it's March. And in spirit, and just because we're going to do March Madness. We're going to call it Movie March, or maybe March Movie Madness? March Movie Madness. March good.
March Movie Madness.
Yes.
Madness Movie March. Whatever.
Yeah. Yep.
Movies.
We'll play with it.
Movie Magic Love.
Jack's going to play with some stuff. We're going to go and talk about movies.
Well,
it's
that
going to
too.
be fantastic.
Whoa.
Let's go ahead and let's roll that theme song.
Play it back.
Maybe.
That's a good pausing point, right?
Oh, you're funny.
Movies and Chill with Zach and Dill. That'll get my giggle box going.
Movies and Chill with Zach and Dill.
Our pet heads are falling off!
Movies and Chill
Great Scott!
with Zach and Dill.
You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Movies and
It seems to run on some form of electricity.
Chill.
Well, sorry!
Zach and Dill.
Spartans! Prepare for glory!
The great Oz has spoken.
Movies and Chill.
Get to the podcast now.
You beat me to it again.
Yeah, I gotta say it real loud.
We're here for the real thing. Thanks for sticking around past the theme song. Usually people hear it, get repelled, and then leave. But if you're still here, God love you. Today, March Madness, we are going to
I can't look that way
Why can't you look this way?
because I can't see your list yet. So I guess
Oh,
stare.
you
I'm
can-
gonna
dude,
stare at Luke the whole time.
What is wrong with your peripheral that you look at exactly the book the whole time?
I does the
I don't
chameleon
know because
thing.
you're moving that. You're moving
All right,
it.
anyway.
Stop moving the book around.
Zach is alluding to this book in my hand. It is my notebook that has all my notes. We are actually doing. Are you trying to?
No, I'm trying to see 10. I can't see it past
You're so distracted.
Little black book.
Okay, go back. You were saying something. I don't know why you stopped.
I'm gonna hit that go back 15 seconds button.
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna do March Madness, but with movies, and I thought it's appropriate time. It's mid March. We're through the first few rounds. Maybe by the time this gets edited and put out, we'll be into the Sweet 16. And I'm excited about basketball. Even if you don't like basketball, you gotta love filling out a bracket. It's really fun.
Competition.
And that's kind of the spirit of what we're doing today. I have picked 16 movies, some of the top grossing movies of all time. I actually picked 18, to be clear. 2 of them got voted out. So we'll call that the NIT. For those of you not familiar with college basketball, that's the invitational tournament. Pretty much the second place. If you didn't make the field of 68, you're in the NIT.
I'm just curious. Did we all vote for the same worst movies? Or
What do you mean?
like the last 2 in our rankings, were they similar
Probably.
across the
probably
four?
I mean,
5 of us?
yeah, I'll get more into who voted what. Some feelings will get hurt. It'll be all right. We'll get through.
That'll
it.
be
I
me.
think. You know, we're all adults here. Plus, we got the tape. We can hold hands if you need to. Whatever needs to happen.
We got tissues in the back, just in case.
Rivals.
Tissues in the back.
Some
So,
rivalries will be born.
Yeah. So I mean, kind of getting right into it. There's 18 movies that I picked, kind of handpicked out of the pantheon of movies, top grossing movies. But I did kind of pick and choose because there are movies in the same franchise that were in the top 25. For instance, I think all 4 Avengers movies are top 4, or all of those are top grossing movies.
I did notice Infinity War was not among the selection.
Right. I selectively chose the one that did the best. That would be Avengers Endgame. Just kind of going through the list there. There's multiple Star Wars movies, Jurassic Park, Harry Potter, just the franchises. I didn't want to pick multiple of those, so I kind of picked around. But what's important to note is in our 1 through 16 ranking, they are ranked by how much money they make. So the number one seed in our tournament is Avatar, the movie that to this day has made the most money.
I thought Endgame passed that.
I think
Or were they
they're
close?
counting.
Short time
They
it
were
did,
just
you know. They re-released it in theaters because James Cameron was upset about it. So-
right. This is more.
He's upset about everything.
Yeah.
I want to say that the list that I was using takes DVD sales into account as well.
Oh,
I did not know that.
okay,
So
okay.
domestically, because I think the United States has a primary share on that market, mostly DVD sales in the United States adds to that. And Endgame is probably going to pass that eventually. But for now, locking in at close to $3 billion is Avatar. So that's our number one seed for today. Shoot. So that's kind of the lay of the land. We're going to have, I think, some visuals to show you too. But going down the list, the way I did this was we voted. And when I say we, I mean the panel of 5, the 4 you see before you, and Brady is our producer today off camera. We voted on our favorite out of the 18. And what ended up happening is I took an average of, where we placed those movies in exactly the same way we did the movie Monsters.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I
That was
remember.
one of my favorite episodes.
Mhm.
And I was excited about this one. I'll say I was downright giddy about coming in here and talking about these movies for the same reason, because I love ranking stuff. Doing top
Who
10s
doesn't?
and stuff, it's fun.
You ever play Smash Bros. Tournament and Melee?
God, you're such a nerd.
The tournament, dude, one of the most popular fighting games ever. Super Smash Brothers Melee tournament mode. I play that all day.
You might as well have been like adjusting your pocket protector while you said that, because that was the nerdiest thing I've ever heard.
That's not the nerdiest thing I've ever said, though.
D&D loving son of a. But anyway, the 1 through 16.
Don't knock until you try it.
The 2 that fell off based on our votes, we'll call it.
Yeah.
I'll just give those to you. Number 17, the number 1 seed in the NIT, like the first loser, is the real life Lion King. And when I say real life, I mean they went to Africa, they filmed some desert, and then they put some CGI animals in it.
There happened to be some lions.
Yeah, that's 17, and then 18 was Furious 7, or in other words, Fast and the Furious 7. That one across the board, we
Thank
got
God.
no love for that one. I think the best it got was Zach gave it 16. So no love at all for Furious 7.
I haven't even seen it, and I hate it.
You just hate it. Just
I have
It's
no.
all about it.
But on the list of like grossing movies, because Brady's got it on our board there for us, number 11 all time, Furious 7.
That's a
So,
shame.
It is a shame.
Don't copy that, kids. That's bad.
I don't even get what you're. I don't even get the
The
joke.
whole franchise is bad.
Oh, okay.
Don't
I'm with you.
don't emulate that.
Don't do it again.
The lessons we've learned from it, though,
They're only
The
gonna do it 5
Rock
more times.
can revitalize any franchise you put in. That's what we learned.
He can put the butts in the seats. He
It's a very palpable. Ugh.
Ugh.
You're not wrong. He definitely puts the butts in the seats.
Yeah.
But he doesn't make the
That's where your point
franchise
ended.
good.
Your point was just he puts butts in the seat.
He does.
I mean, he does.
Whether
He's-
they
Am I
want to
wrong?
Be there or not.
Am I wrong?
All right, you're not wrong. So
You're
those
right.
2 movies fell off, which I found interesting because in the pantheon of where they are, Lion King is 9th all time in like the most money it's made, which is I think is interesting.
It's bizarre.
And then number 11 was Furious 7. So already we've lost 2 of our top 11 movies just on our voting. So what I love about this is getting into the actual bracket. That's how they're ranked. 1 through 16 is how much money they make. So you can see already a movie that might not have made much money, but we love, can be an upset. Because that's what March Madness is
The
about.
Cinderella story.
Right. We want to see what happened to Purdue. We want to see that.
I didn't want to see.
Sorry,
that.
I'm throwing shade. I like Purdue. I'm still throwing shade. You can't get beat 3 years in a row by a 13, 15, and 16. That's embarrassing. We
A
just
little bit.
transitioned into a sports podcast for like 5 seconds. but I'm going to come right back to movies now.
Okay.
Bring it back.
Roll
Yeah.
it back. Roll it back.
So, without further ado, we're going to talk about these matchups. And I'm going to put these matchups up so you can see them. I think, and by me, I mean Zach, because he's the tech whiz. Yeah, see?
Up
Thumbs
here.
up.
They're like right up here. There's one.
Thank
And
you,
if you look
Vanna.
over by Dylan, there's another one.
Yeah, we should do this like the whole time, Zach.
Yeah.
Yeah, right here. Right here.
I'm gonna volleyball it over to Tanner.
Yeah, baby. Holding it up.
Have fun with that one.
I missed everything.
You did?
I
Yeah.
didn't see it.
Me and Tanner.
You'll
were-
see it.
All right.
I'll
I'll have to
fun.
watch
I'll
it.
have to do something with that.
Okay.
Now he has
So,
to.
if you're familiar with a seeded tournament with 16 seeds, 16 plays 1, 2 plays 15, 3 plays 14, and so on and so forth. You'll see that up there. These guys are just at the mercy of what I'm going to tell them. But the first matchup is Avatar, the first one. I did not include the second one, which was third all time for the sake of variety. The contender is Alice in Wonderland. So Alice in Wonderland is number 16 based on how much money it made. Where do you guys think, between the five of us, what do you think the average is on this vote?
12.
12? Zach, what do you think?
Average?
Maybe,
Probably.
maybe
I
I'm
would
being
say.
optimistic.
I would say, yeah, around 10 or 12.
This was one of the more interesting entries we've had. And I'm talking about the Alice in Wonderland with Johnny Depp, like the actual
Uh-huh.
live action. I hope you guys caught that.
Yep.
That one made a lot of money. I mean, Tim Burton,
Yeah.
Walt Disney coming
I
together,
was gonna
making
say,
a
I
movie.
thought Tim Burton directed that.
Yeah, it's a good combination. People wanted to see like the imagination come to life. That was one of those movies that came out at IMAX and 3D, but they didn't shoot it in IMAX cameras. So the result was you got to see things popping out at you, but the background was severely blurry. That was when they were trying to figure out what IMAX theaters really were like allowed to do or could do. Just food for thought. Take that home.
Well, experimental. Interesting.
Yeah, but anyway, at any rate, I thought it was a decent movie. Personally, on this list, I gave it an 11 out of 18. I was 11th on my list, and then Tanner was 17. Luke was 16. Guess who kept this thing in the running? Zach, his second favorite movie on this list.
Really?
It is.
I want to hear. I want to hear your thoughts.
I love the story of Alice in Wonderland. Anyway.
Okay.
And I really like the that version of it. I really like it a lot. I've watched it a ton of times, but I like the whole story of Alice in Wonderland. Anyway.
Okay. It is a good story.
Yeah. So the adaptation of that I liked it a lot. I've seen a bunch of different versions of that
Okay.
in life. That's probably one of my favorites. So
Brady, I don't know a lot of words. Can you look up abdectation? That's what Zach said. I think he meant adaptation, but what's adaptation?
Do we need? I don't know how to spell that.
I don't. Yeah, how would you spell that?
It's
don't
actually
know.
French, I believe.
Adaptation.
yeah, see, look, it's
I mean, I think it's spell check. It's spell check.
That's a 2002 movie.
Only thing I'm getting here is that he's wrong.
Brady gave it an 8, so Brady's he gave it a top 10 vote too. It is a good movie.
I'll be honest, I haven't seen it, so
I have not seen
Wow.
it either.
I don't have a desire to see it though.
Okay.
So it landed pretty low on my list.
That's
So-
exactly the same as me. I didn't see it, and it just didn't catch my eye when it came out. So
Okay. So Zach,
it might be good.
did you like Johnny Depp's take on the Mad Hatter? Did you like how when he got angrier and angrier, he was more Scottish?
yes.
I thought it was
Yes,
funny.
yes.
I thought that was really interesting.
I liked how they did a lot of the characters in that.
So that's the matchup. Avatar, just at a quick glance, we didn't give that one as much love as the number one movie of all time should probably be given.
When did that come out?
When was it? 2000
When did Avatar come out, Brady?
2009?
It was earlier than that.
Was it?
I believe so.
I don't know.
I get real tired of being right.
just under the wire, like
In
10 days
December.
left in the
Oh,
year.
it was a Christmas movie for sure.
Yeah.
But I think, Luke, you were the only one that had it in the top 10 for you. You had it number 8.
Avatar.
Yeah. And the rest of us kind of put it in the teens. So the way this works is based on the matchups, based on how close. I actually gave a score to this too, like a real basketball game.
Yeah.
Alice in Wonderland played Avatar. They got into overtime. and Alice in Wonderland
They duked it
with
out.
the 16-over-1 upset, 52-51. So moving on is Alice in Wonderland. The #1 movie in the world is left in the dust. Just right away, we've got a Purdue situation right off the rip.
Get it out.
Goodbye, #1
I
seed.
mean,
We don't need
I
it.
placed it further up just by sheer number of people who went and saw it. Like, it came out in 2009, but it looks like it could have been made last year. For all
Okay.
you know, it still looks beautiful.
Our average votes put Avatar at 12.6. The average votes for Alice in Wonderland, 10.8. So ergo, Alice in Wonderland squeaks out over
Thanks.
Avatar,
That'd be too loud.
or what I
So
like
good.
to call it lovingly, Pocahontas 2.0. So
It made Pocahontas a much more interesting story.
yeah,
I
and
will
you
say.
do have Brady pulled up the list there. You do have to go quite a ways down to see Alice in Wonderland. It's number 47. So, taking into consideration the DVD sales on that one as well, probably boost that even higher. But let's take a look at the next matchup. That would be the number 8 seed and the number 9 seed. I said 8 twice. 8 and the 9. This
So
on
Alice is
paper should
moving up.
be very competitive, right? The 8 versus the 9. 8 seed, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2.
That's pretty close to where I put it.
Well, no, the 8
The seed
is the seed
where it
based
fell.
on how much money, which actually it's the
Yeah.
16th all time.
He hasn't
according
got to
the
where
list.
we put him yet.
Yeah, that's next. So number 9 is The Incredibles 2, which is I think 21st all time. But all that to say, 2 movies that made pretty much the same amount of money. Great success for both, to quote Borat. Great success.
That's nice.
That one. Who thinks that one ranked higher? Which one, Harry Potter or Incredibles? Where do you guys think that one in our ranking?
I'm gonna say Harry Potter.
I'll say Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Everyone agrees Harry
Out
Potter
of just the
probably
5
did
of us,
better.
out of just the 5 of us where we placed it.
Yeah.
Yep. I would say Harry Potter.
So with
Wow.
an overall average of 7th place, Harry Potter edges out Incredibles, which averaged in around 12. This was Brady's 3rd favorite movie, Harry Potter 7.
Good franchise. I mean, they're fans worldwide. Incredibles 2 kind of relied on that nostalgia factor, I think, because the last movie came out 15 years before it.
Yeah,
Somewhere around that.
That's why it got people in the theaters, is because people have been asking for a sequel for a decade and a half, and then they finally got it. And to be honest, I felt a little let down by it. It wasn't that good.
Oh, interesting. I wanted to see more Mole Man, but for Incredibles 2, I think they came in a little underwhelming. Harry Potter shot the lights out. They beat him 65-52. They move on. That is your 8 seed beating your 9 seed. So now we're going to jump down to another bracket of Spider-Man No Way Home. That's the 3rd entry in Tom Holland's Spider-Man. That's the 5 seed is Spider-Man No Way Home. The 12 seed, the original Transformers. This one I thought would be really interesting.
Interesting how.
Yeah, like
As far as the
votes.
matchup, the votes,
The votes.
Okay.
He's saying.
Okay.
Transformers came in at 10.2, but there's really no stopping Spider-Man. Spider-Man, across the board, we gave Spider-Man a lot of love. And
Can't not love Spidey.
right, and particularly
We had
this
all 3 of
one.
them, too.
Where did Spider-Man end up in that list? All the way up at number 7.
It's
So,
up there.
yeah, Spider-Man truly was one of the all-time.
Highly anticipated.
To throw in Doctor Strange, you got yourself a nice looking winner there.
Doctor Strange and 3 different Spider-Men from 3 different generations of moviegoers.
The nostalgia was palpable. So obviously, Spider-Man runs away with this one, 85-63. It wasn't even close. If you put that in your bracket, you picked correctly. Good job. So Spider-Man moves on, and they will face either Star Wars: The Force Awakens or Toy Story. What a 4-13 matchup that is. Two sluggers, two superstars.
2 movies that couldn't be further apart in what, like,
in
type of-
scope and
yeah.
I mean, animation. I would argue paving the way for what animation was going to be when it came out. Toy Story, just
When
for
did
that.
Toy Story come out?
19 something.
Yeah.
90 something.
Tanner and I were kind of on the same page with Toy Story in our list. Like, if you consider what Toy Story was at the time,
95.
it came out in 1995.
You weren't even born yet.
For
It's
its
old.
time, the animation was absolutely nutty. The first time we were considering like animation in HD, we were really like testing HD TVs at the time and like seeing their capabilities. I remember as a kid walking into Walmart and just being amazed that like Toy Story was trying to pop off the screen at me. I don't know if you
Written
guys
by
remember
Joss
that.
Whedon. I didn't know that.
Yeah, just incredible.
That's my
Really,
fun fact
really
of the
good
day.
movie for its time, and obviously Star Wars: The Force Awakens from a nostalgia, also something new. Star Wars is incredible. Now, will you argue that the new trilogy is incredible? I personally don't think it was all that good. But out of those three, the new three, which would be 7, 8, and 9, I think that the seventh one was the best. I just think it was.
I would agree with that.
Even
I
if
agree with that.
even if you think it was copy, cut, and paste from A New Hope, which I do.
I was very relieved when you had The Force Awakens and not one of the other two.
The other two are too
That would have
divisive.
been bottom in the list.
Yeah, too divisive. But at the same time, I think The Force Awakens was a little divisive in the way they used their characters. They made Han Solo into a space bum after he was the hero of the original trilogy as well. All of a sudden, he goes back to just going around in a space camper and just being a piece of trash.
Lone Star.
Yeah, and then leading Lone Star.
I mean,
Luke
was good.
Skywalker, nowhere to be found.
Yep.
You know, I hated that. Couldn't stand
I'd
the
have
fact that
rather
he's not
they
even
left
in it.
him nowhere to be found than what they did to him.
I don't disagree. That's not the point.
They
I'm
could have
trying to
left
make.
him as a mythical legend figure in the galaxy, and then they didn't, and it was bad.
We'll never get to see what J.J. Abrams could have done with Luke Skywalker. Just let that sink in.
Maybe
it
they'll
drives
give him
me
the Zack
nuts.
Snyder treatment and put it on a streaming service with a.
They thought about it.
Hopefully they do
Director's
black
cut.
and white,
They thought about it.
just like they did with the Snyder Cut,
That's
the
right.
black and white version. So yeah. Anyway, Star Wars against what did I say? Toy Story.
Yeah.
This is a 4-13 matchup, and in a squeaker, Toy Story advances, upsetting the 4 seed, 65-61. Just based on the votes, Toy Story lives to fight another day. I mean, so far, I'm really. This is fun. I don't know about you guys. I'm having a blasty blast over here.
I was like, literally, all of us are just waiting to hear
Yeah.
the stuff.
Just-
So it's
I'm just talking.
I know.
and I want
That's
you
why we
guys
haven't
to
said
fill
anything, because
in.
we're just kind of waiting, like, "Ooh, what's going to happen?"
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the.
Was it really that close between Toy Story and Force?
Just to give you perspective, Toy Story, our votes put Toy Story 9.2, and Force Awakens was 11.6. So Toy Story won, but it was close. It was close considering the matchup.
I put Force Awakens at 17.
I'll tell you who saved Toy Story. It was Tanner and I. You guys had Toy Story. Zach had it at 18.
I had it at
No
10.
love at all for Toy Story.
None at all. Wow. But I mean,
I
don't
I'm
care.
waiting for an
I don't
explanation.
care either way for that. I've never cared either way for the Toy Story.
Do you
one.
like
But
the
you've seen the
sequels?
first one, right?
Yeah, I've seen them.
Do you care for the sequels?
You
at all?
understand that the toys are talking.
Yeah.
to who?
Yeah.
It's the toys that are the actors.
Uh-huh.
Okay. What?
Do you get it?
That's it. Because the toys are alive. Ah! And I was like, no,
What prompted the 18 treatment?
I don't know. I just threw it down there. Them, most of the ones that were on the list, I don't ever watch. Don't really care for. They're okay. I'm not saying they're bad movies. I just
Okay.
don't care for
Well, you nearly toppled Toy Story just with your 18
Yeah.
alone.
Drug it
them. Well,
down
that's why I was surprised that it was close,
into the
because
month.
I figured I'd be the only one down, and the rest. So I figured it'd be further away. Like Toy Story would be a lot.
I mean,
harder.
Tanner and I gave it 4.
Yeah.
Like, it was our fourth.
I figured all
favorite.
three of you would have it up higher.
And then
Than,
Luke and Brady had it at 10.
Yeah.
So really, it was like right
I
in the
do.
middle.
gotcha.
But
It was-
I'm curious, Tanner, what did you have it for?
well,
I want to know your thoughts. Like, that's up there.
Well, first, I mean, I watched it all the time as a kid. Great movie, best movie. as a kid, that was like my favorite. I watched it just about every day.
Okay.
And then I look at, like you said, the animation is so ahead of its time. And I think Rotten Tomatoes, Brady, I think they
Pulling it up
100% and IMDb.
Can we get that on the
like
screen?
9.5 or something.
It's got everything you'd want in a story.
It was just all around just a great.
Yeah. There's really
Well made.
not a lot of flaws in it.
Mrs.
Voice
Nesbitt
acting was prima.
Mrs. Nesbitt.
Oh yeah,
That's a big part of
the
it.
best.
Jim Varney as Slinky Dog. The
Yeah.
cast is incredible.
Yeah.
Guy from Cheers is the pig. I can't remember his name.
He's in so many Pixar movies.
Yeah, there was so many good voice actors.
Plus
in
the
that.
Randy Newman music.
Yeah, for sure.
You got a friend in me, Randy Boo Boo.
All right, when's the next Toy Story coming out?
Rotten Tomatoes, you were right.
I got more ideas.
Did give him a 100%. So
That's
thanks for
surprises
looking
me.
that up, B-Man.
Computer Man.
B-Man on the keyboard.
Yeah, guy with a computer.
100%. I don't know the last time I saw 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
So just to recap.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Oh, look at his eyes. See that?
His eyes are.
He's peeking into our soul.
Buzz is looking into our soul in the reflection.
Buzz like, what's he doing there?
He's in his helmet. He's just staring.
Recap.
That's
Alice in Wonderland, Harry Potter 7, Spider-Man No Way Home, Toy Story in our Elite 8 so far. And then we move on to the bottom half of the bracket, starting with Jurassic World as our 6th seed. Back to the list. What did Jurassic World? It was number 8 all time in money made. So Jurassic World, a heavy hitter. Waiting to see what Chris Pratt was going to do with that series. I think Chris Pratt, I could argue, is just like The Rock. You put him in a series, and he kind of gives it life again. And
He uses the redeeming quality of those movies. I feel like
sure. And I think who Jurassic World goes up against is just not fair. The 11 seed is Lord of the Rings: Return of the King.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it's kind of not fair. I think
Sorry, Chris.
it reminds me of when like the actual
he
March
watches
Madness
this.
tournament when they put like conference teams together.
yeah.
And you're like, they shouldn't play them,
Yeah.
because you get to see these teams already. And I'm not gonna go. I'm gonna bring it back to a movie podcast once more.
Stop with the sports analogies.
Yeah, go sports ball.
I like sports.
At any rate, so the unenviable task of the 6 and 11,
Going up one of the best movies of all time.
Lord of the Rings mops the floor with Jurassic World in a not so shocking upset.
Almost every way imaginable, I'd venture to guess.
It was 82-62. This one wasn't even close.
It's not a fun game to watch.
These are all fake scores. You guys realize they didn't actually play a game of basketball.
They did too. I
They
saw
did.
Gimli go up against Chris Pratt's pet dinosaur.
I feel like the T-Rex would
Gimli
do a lot
won.
better. But
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, from a movie money-making standpoint, only 27. But where the love for Lord of the Rings comes in is its cult following. The
It did.
DVD sales skyrocketed. I think it's one of the most
It may not have earned
sold
as much
DVDs of all
money,
time.
but the amount of Oscars that series has is astounding.
And
for 3 movies.
I agree.
Was
But
it 27 between the 3 movies?
Best Picture, Return of the King. The last time I've respected the winner of the Best Picture award from the Oscars.
All practical effects, and it shows.
Yeah, that was the last good movie that won. All the rest of it became incredibly political from there on, which is the basis of our podcast, if you want to get down to it.
17.
We've been against the
Still
grain
good.
on Hollywood since the beginning.
Yeah.
And so it is appropriate we talk about Return of the King, which I think
Do you like the
ironically is
extended edition or the theatrical edition?
probably the extended, I think, is better. It kind of fleshes it out, but I think they took too much liberties with it.
There's a lot that could be cut
Exactly.
to shorten the
It's
time.
like I'll take the extra footage that I liked.
I love seeing the
But it
mouth of
was too much.
Sauron, but I don't need to see 5 minutes of Gimli and Legolas having a drinking contest. I just don't.
Okay. You just kind of hit on what I thought of it too. It's like, yes, I appreciated some of the extras, but I could have done without some of it. It's what you get out of it. If you want extended, you want to get more minutes out of it, you're not going to like every minute.
Yeah. But if you're introducing the trilogy to someone who's never seen it, go with the theatrical version.
I'll take Gimli and Legolas in a drinking contest 1,000 times more than I'll take the entire first Hobbit movie, where like we spend a good third of that movie juggling dishes.
I like the Hobbit movies.
Okay,
Not
can
for-
we argue that should have been a 2-movie entry instead of 3? There's no way
they could have done a part 1 and a part 2.
Yes,
There's a
you
lot
can't
of filler.
convince me that should have been a trilogy.
I agree with that, but
A lot of
the
filler.
first one is more charming than anything, in my opinion. Like,
I'll give you that, but no more. That's all.
That's enough.
That's enough.
he's so mean.
No drinks. Can't do it.
No drinks.
All right.
That's a movie we should.
So obviously, Lord of the Rings moves on to the Elite Eight. The matchup that Lord of the Rings they'll face either Titanic or The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Titanic is, of course, the number 4 movie all time. James Cameron has a lot of good ones. Before we get too far into this one, though, we're going to take a break. We're legally obligated to do so. And we'll discuss this one when we get back, though.
They have to give us breaks sometimes.
I'm gonna wet my whistle. Then we'll be right back. So stick around. Welcome back. So we are continuing our conversation with The Dark Knight. You guys cool?
Yep. Let's go.
Something weird
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
Dark Knight and going up against Titanic, which is a Titanic task.
The Titanic matchup.
One
movie about a boat. The other one about the goat.
Yeah. Anyway,
Batman
Titanic,
makes the goat.
3rd all time. 4th all time. Sorry, I forgot about the new Avatar. 4th all time.
I still can't believe that's that high.
Well,
That
let's-
movie is older than half the people in this room.
Can I make an observation about
You're
James
that
Cameron?
high.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to.
Go
I
ahead.
have to.
Go ahead.
Make your observation.
You do
So
that.
Avengers, that's the Russo brothers, okay? But Cameron's got 1, 3, and 4, like all-time best-selling movies. Like he did Titanic and he did both Avatars. That's James Cameron.
You know what I think that is? I think his movies appeal to all audiences.
Well, I want to tell you about this. Like he went to court over Avatar. Like you guys know this, right?
Because
He went to
Pocahontas?
court because it's essentially he took it from Pocahontas. We've already laid this out. Like the names are even the same. Like John Smith, Jake Sullivan. Like he even made the names the same as like a homage to that.
Mm.
So like the movie he's made the most money for isn't even his idea. And on top of that, I
Neither
would
is the
say
second one, right?
Titanic, he just used a historic. I don't know. I just think that like this dude made billions of dollars from like not even his ideas. I don't know. I just think it's odd. I don't know. And maybe he's a good dude. I don't know. I don't care. He's also Terminator, isn't he? Did he also do Terminator?
I don't
I'm not
know.
sure about that.
You check that, Brady? James Cameron. I'm pretty sure he did Terminator. Because
Well,
like
if that's the case, then he definitely stole from history. Because man, that's crazy.
he literally stole from history. I didn't know he did True Lies.
Well,
Yeah, he did. He did
look-
Terminator,
looky
True
there.
Lies. So he's like got these movies, but the ones that made the
Thanks,
crazy
Brady.
amount of money. Yeah, I just thought that was wild. Like one man is responsible for 3 out of the top 4. Anyway, back to it.
He did good.
He did some good things. Titanic goes up against The Dark Knight, but remember, it's our votes, not the amount of money it made, that moves these movies on. In case you're just joining us, I don't know why you would be. It's halfway through the whole thing. But
If he joined it now, you would be lost.
I guess if this was live,
Yeah.
then they could be potentially. But let's keep going.
I start podcast and then I put the little toggle to the middle.
Right to the middle.
Right to the middle.
That's where all the
There you go.
good stuff is.
That's where
back to the
that's
beginning.
where the meat and cheese is in a sandwich.
So in our bracket of 1 through 16, this is the 3 versus 14 matchup. I'm just gonna move on.
Yeah,
from
just
that.
go. Just
Please,
Not even gonna
please do
acknowledge
that.
joke.
Keep rolling.
The Dark Knight, it's not even close. 74 to 61, they move on. It's a big upset, 14 over 3. We all gave The Dark Knight pretty high
Get my list back.
marks. And then for Titanic, not a terrible showing, but I think age kind of did this one in. 12.6 is the average. So we really
haven't
didn't give
seen
a lot
it
of
since
love.
I was like 3.
You saw it at age 3?
My grandma had it on VHS. We hung out in her
And
basement.
she said, "Hey, Luke, let's watch Titanic."
My sisters they were older than me, and they wanted to watch it.
There it is.
And
Okay,
my
that makes way more sense.
my grand was upstairs making me mac and cheese. So.
There you go. Yeah, I just can't imagine a grandma being like, "You need to see this for its historical value."
My grandma rocked. You don't know.
I guess harder than a lot of grandmas did at that time.
She's like, those people died. 3-year-old Luke.
You're gonna learn today.
Yeah, we're gonna learn you.
You like Leonardo DiCaprio? Or turn me into a popsicle.
Let's end the debate right now. Should she have let him die while she floated on the big door?
What option did she have? It's been
Share
a while.
the door.
Wasn't
It's
it
a door.
wasn't it like big enough for one person to lay on?
That's
I don't know.
convenient.
Only one door.
And then she
That
says,
seems really inconvenient.
"I'll
if you ask
never
me.
let you go." And then
she lets him
immediately lets him go.
Well, he should have held on better. I don't know.
I mean, I also think that he should have. They should have switched. They're both freezing. Let me float on the big door for a bit, and you sit in the water for a minute.
Wouldn't they both die then of hypothermia?
Hard to
All
say.
right.
I mean, maybe that's a better love story if they both die together.
I just think that they could have found an apparatus other than a door that would have made more sense.
I'm wondering.
Okay, but
It's been
well,
hot.
here-
Why wasn't she on the life rafts with the other women and children?
because they were getting chased around.
He doesn't remember. He was 3.
Okay. Well, he needs
Thank
to
you.
remember because you just should know. Stop asking
We should
questions.
ask his grandma.
This is history. It actually happened.
Yeah.
Stop asking questions. 'cause
So
you
why
don't know
wasn't she
stuff.
on a life raft?
Because she was getting chased. Her and they were both getting chased around. They were originally locked up. He was locked
Billy
away.
Zane was a jerk.
He was he was really good in that though. as a
Yeah, I
jerk.
like Billy Zane.
And she went to save him. And then by the time they got back, the boat was falling apart. So she couldn't have got on the boat.
Gotcha.
She could have, but she didn't.
Gotcha.
Well, first of all, okay, just to kind of give you an idea
Spoiler
of
alert.
how
The
this,
boat sank.
yeah, this how, if you want to say when it comes to her letting him go, it's like, well, first of all, you got to remember how this movie starts out as she's on with this crew trying to find information on the boat, like the jewel and stuff. And the whole time she has it.
Yeah.
So she's being, again, not, oh, okay, I could just tell them I have it. And the whole time they're looking for it, wasting all this time and money.
That ties into
to find-
the previous episode. when
Zach's
we were
got
asking
beef.
about secrets there.
Yeah.
Zach's got beef.
For a hot minute.
Well, no,
minutes
that's what
I've
tells
seen
you
it.
type of character she is. It's like, yeah, she liked him and stuff, but in the end, it's like,
It was all about the jewel.
I got the jewel. And then at the end, she's like, well, then she throws it in the ocean anyway.
Well,
yeah,
and then he'll tell him, we'll
It's
never
gone.
find it. But
So moving on.
they would have
to
thrown
Lily.
it, by the way, they would have thrown her on the boat shit. They'd find that out. It's like, get her off here.
Yeah, they would have thrown her down there with the other fossils.
They just
Yeah.
all grouped together. Just
Moving on, Lord of the Rings faces the Dark Knight in next round. Let's go to
I don't
Top
like that
Gun
matchup.
2. Top Gun Dose, affectionately known as Maverick.
it was a good movie.
I realized that some of you haven't seen Top Gun 2. You need to.
It
Oh, I
is
know.
very very.
It
good.
is incredible. Incredible.
If
I
you
put
can watch the first one before you watch.
You
the
need to
second
watch
one.
the first one.
Watch them back to
Don't need
back.
to.
You need to for story
Don't need
purposes.
to.
This was my third favorite movie on the list.
Yes,
This is
No,
my
I
number
don't.
3. And I feel like the only reason it's not higher is that you guys haven't seen it.
Exactly.
I truly think that because
I agree.
I had it at
I agree.
it is so like everything you want in a movie. And I can't even stand Tom Cruise, but he is so good in this movie. It's hard to deny how good Tom Cruise is in this movie. Jennifer Connelly puts in a great performance, and the action carries the movie. Like if you have an ounce of patriotism in your heart, this movie is insanely good. It will make you scream, "Yes, America!" like halfway through it.
Or if you've ever
I like
had a
that.
best friend.
Yeah,
Honestly.
it's really good. I'm really selling it because I think it was probably going to be higher, as some of you seen.
Mhm.
Having said that, it went up against Aquaman. Top Gun was the 7th seed. Aquaman is the 10th seed.
I've not
So
seen
Top
either.
Gun to this point, 12th all time, and that's a pretty good number. It's Tom Cruise's only $1 billion movie.
That
FYI.
surprises me.
Right? How many great big blockbusters has he been in? This
Like
is his first $1
7
billion.
Mission Impossibles.
Yeah. This new one coming out might make $1 billion.
I haven't seen a single one of them.
It might.
The Mission Impossible movies.
But it goes up against
Pretty good,
Aquaman.
surprisingly really good.
Aquaman, I think when you look at the other movies in the list, Aquaman is a quality entry. Because what are we talking about here? We're talking about the 16 to 18 best movies of all time. So we're not saying Aquaman's not good by putting it there. I think it just kind of gets drowned out a little bit.
When you're talking about the best movies of all time, there's some stiff competition.
Yeah, well said. Better than my pun. Aquaman does not have what it takes to hold up against Top Gun. 75-69. The Top Gunners move on. So that leaves us with the last coupling in the Sweet 16 round. The number 2 seed, Endgame, goes up against Pirates of the Caribbean 2.
Dead Man's Chest.
Now, this one broke my heart a little bit. And I'll tell you why. Because Pirates of the Caribbean 2 gets a lot of love from our votes.
It was good.
It averaged out to 5.8. Okay, so really good across the board. We all ranked it. But at the end of the day, it's all about the matchup. And went up against Endgame. And Endgame was the number movie of all time? Was it number 2?
2 or 3.
Number 2 movie all time.
Mm-hmm.
And
I actually put Pirates above Endgame in my ranking.
some of us did.
I think I
Some
did
of
as
us
well.
did. But it just the law of averages.
It just barely eked out. If it would have been Infinity War, that would have been ahead of Pirates, I think.
This was another overtime game. Endgame topples Pirates of the Caribbean 2 63-60 in overtime.
I think it has to.
It did.
Like,
That's
I
what
mean,
happened.
I
telling
get
you.
that that's what happened.
They were
but
playing it, and that's what
They
happened.
played the game, and
You would have
I
watched.
it.
I didn't watch that basketball game between a pirate and Thanos.
Thanos won.
Yeah.
He had the Power Stone.
If that was the first Pirates movie, I would
Actually, most of the Pirates were
Really?
probably
I
in
like
that
the
movie.
first one.
I do. I really
Okay.
love the first one.
Yeah, the
All right.
first one's pretty good.
First one is good. I think it. No, we're not gonna. We already had a whole episode.
We had that episode.
Yeah.
So
Deja
Yeah.
vu.
there you go. We've got 8 movies left in our ranking as we move into the Elite 8. Yeah. No, you can do it again. Yeah. 8 movies left. Let's go back up to the top. Remind you who's playing.
We need a sports center.
Alice in Wonderland squeaks out a win over Avatar. They play
Who's it going
against
up against
Harry
now?
Potter. So the 8 seed Harry Potter against the 16 seed Alice in Wonderland. Hard fought game, but the 16 seed Cinderella goes down. Harry Potter moves on. Score of that game was 65-58. Harry Potter moves on. All right. Going quickly down to the next matchup in this side of the bracket. Spider-Man moved on against Transformers. It wasn't close. So now we've got Spider-Man moved on. Sorry, I'm getting lost because Brady's doing some weird stuff on the screen.
What are you doing?
I don't know.
All right.
It's toppling the whole podcast. You're
Yeah.
ruining everything. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Tearing me up.
Oh, you're doing like an actual spin?
Yeah, I just wanted
Okay.
to see.
Okay.
well,
No,
might as well do it. We're all looking now.
yeah,
Put-
you
put
guys
it
that
in
are
chance.
watching us on YouTube.
Yeah,
watching,
sorry, we're
You're
watching.
watching us watching something else. It's like Inception.
Yeah.
Just keep,
Yeah, that's
keep
popular
listening up. Keep
trend right
listening
now.
up. Is
Reaction,
it really?
reaction.
Reaction? All right, so let's just
Let's see
stare
who
at it.
wins.
Oh,
Did you give
Hit
odds
spin.
to
Hit spin.
Oh,
man. Scroll up.
Okay.
who's it gonna be?
Okay.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man or Alice?
Oh, come on.
This is when we're
Ring.
supposed to go.
Oh!
Oh!
Look, it even gave us confetti. Oh,
Such crap.
Rigged. Actually, you should put them all in there.
That's what I was trying to do, but I don't know more.
Okay.
Harry Potter goes up against. Wait, we're not there yet. Sorry.
We did Harry Potter and
Harry
Alice.
Potter and Incredibles. Harry Potter won. Did I do this already?
No,
Harry
you
Potter.
still have to go down that list because
We stopped.
Sorry, I'm getting confused. The freaking wheel messed me up. I don't even know what we're doing.
Okay.
The invention of the wheel.
Spider-Man Transformers. Spider-Man blew him out of the water.
Yeah.
But they go up against Toy Story. What's going to happen here? Toy Story, the 13th seed, ends up falling 77-70. Spider-Man No Way Home moves on. Okay. Again, just based on the rankings, where we put them, Spidey lives to fight on. They're in the final four against Harry Potter 7. Let's go down to the other side of the bracket. Lord of the Rings. This is the matchup of the tournament.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to this.
Lord of the Rings.
My top two movies
goes up against
one
the
of them's
Dark
not
Knight.
making it to the finals.
wow.
This was the matchup to end all matchups. This is a triple overtime game. And in the end, it is the Dark Knight 89, Lord of the Rings 88. Dark Knight puts away Lord of the Rings.
I mean, shoot.
Wow. Just threw it out there. But that's what people do in March.
Brady,
I'm
did he
upset.
just curse on
I
television?
mean, how many Purdue Boilermaker fans said that?
Maybe.
I mean, I did.
You
I said
did.
it twice.
2 times?
2 times.
You
so
sinner.
nice he said it twice.
You sinner.
All right, we got to go. Who ranked higher on the Dark Knight?
Are you pointing blame now? Let's not get into that yet.
I'm getting
I don't want to get into that yet. Let's not do that.
Okay.
Just okay.
No.
The bottom bracket,
We'll talk
Top
about that
Gun outlasts Aquaman in the first round, but now they got to go up against Endgame. Okay, so number 7 seed goes up against the number 2 seed. This game was not close. Even though I love Top Gun, for the reasons I illustrated earlier, Top Gun falls because I don't think you're just ignorant. You guys are just ignorant. Okay? Actually, Endgame's tough to beat, though. Endgame wins 80-67. Their 3-point shooting was on par. Okay. Endgame moves on to the final four. Our final four is set. It's set. Harry Potter 7, Spider-Man No Way Home, The Dark Knight, and Endgame. Sounds like it's a heck of a lot of action right there.
There you go.
It's a good night.
Not a lot of romance, we'll say
It's
that.
a dark night.
Ooh, I see what you did there. It's a stogie joke. So in the final four we go. You still got that spinny thing up there.
Go ahead and spin the wheel.
Go ahead and spin it.
Let's
I
see.
just wanna see what
Let's see what happens.
See what
Spin.
the fates have in store.
We got the
for us.
final
What-
four
what's this
in a
say?
wheel.
We'll see if it matches what we come up with.
Why? That's like Price is Right when you spin it too hard.
Ooh.
Who won? Wait, who won?
Oh.
Okay, so this random
That was,
website has Endgame winning.
that was a fraction away from the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, let's just move on because this is
Okay.
what we're really here for.
I think that's what it's going to come down to, in all honesty.
All right.
Harry Potter goes up against Spider-Man, the 5 seed against the 8 seed. Harry Potter, I want to remind you, Harry Potter got a 7 out of a 7th place was the average. And then Spider-Man, though, averaged 3.8. So at the end of the day, Spidey moves on 66-60, final score, into the championship game. Down goes Potter.
Potter played a respectable game.
Yeah,
Just wasn't up to snuff this time.
yeah. Yeah.
Or Snape.
I was going to make
It
a
wasn't up
wizard
to
joke.
Hufflepuff.
I couldn't connect any wizard jokes with basketball. So
It's a tough one.
it's tough. We're going to move on. Final four. The Dark Knight
I'm sweating.
goes up against Endgame. Wow. I mean, two
Clash of the-
heavyweights.
Clash of the Titans.
Just slugging it
Do
out.
another spinner for us, Brady.
Endgame.
Another wheel.
Just kidding. Don't
Endgame
do that.
averaged
Don't do
4.6 out of our votes. Endgame 4.6. If you wanted Endgame to get better, blame Tanner. He gave it 7.
That's not much better than me. I gave it a 5.
Yeah. So we were all over on this one as far as in the top 8. But it ends up with an average of 4.6. So at the end of the day, the Dark Knight wins 79-68. Sets up a final Spider-Man versus the Dark Knight, DC versus Marvel, the way you knew it was going to end up anyway.
Bunch of nerds.
Because we
Bunch of
are
nerds.
5 nerds in a room talking in mics.
And 7 times out of 10, we talk about a superhero movie.
Yep. So you can throw the money signs out the window, although these did make money let's remind the viewers, go back to that tab, what these movies made since they're in our championship game. Spider-Man No Way Home was our 5 seed, actually 7th all time, $1.9 billion that movie made.
Just shy.
Put that up against our 14 seed. You got to go down the list of ways. The Dark
Down
Knight
to 50.
Rises is one of the better movies in 2008. I would argue
Down
this
to
movie
50 is The Dark Knight.
This movie doesn't,
No.
and there's actually a good reason I didn't use The Dark Knight Rises.
I'm glad you didn't.
I'll just tell you, I didn't use The Dark Knight Rises because the only reason that movie bested The Dark Knight, there was little competition that weekend, and after having seen The Dark Knight, everybody and their cat wanted to know how they were going to follow up. So obviously, this is a case of I'm excited for the sequel, but it ended up not being as good as The Dark Knight. I'm just going to say it. It was a good movie. It just wasn't the same level.
I think that was hampered a little bit with Heath Ledger's untimely passing.
Agreed. It was not the original plan. What you saw with Bane and Talia al Ghul was not the original plan for the sequel. So, agreed. This movie did make $1 billion, though. So, it's no slouch. But it goes all the way down to number 50 in the all-time list. I think the reason is go back and look at the movies that happened in 2008. Iron Man 1 came out in 2008. This was a summer of blockbusters. I wasn't the only one, but man, it had a lot of competition. And I honestly think that it was a case of there was a lot of good movies in 2008.
I forgot about Tropic Thunder.
Yeah,
out
there was
that
just
year.
there was a lot of good movies. There was another Indiana Jones, and even though that one was not good, everybody thought it might be, so they went and saw it.
Wall-E,
you think
Kung Fu Panda,
Do you think the economy had anything to do with it?
James Bond.
In 2008,
Because of
possibly.
recession.
The recession in 2008, that's a good possibility.
Another
A little
Marvel
bit of-
movie,
I
The
mean,
Incredible
inflation
Hulk.
from then is.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's
that
accounted
movie?
for, but holy cow.
I mean, for that reason, I think The Dark Knight goes way down in the movie list, but you can't argue that it's a good movie. And The Dark Knight, because I already mentioned Spider-Man, we gave Spider-Man 3.8. And that's our average ranking, so almost 4th place. What we gave The Dark Knight, 2.2. Across the board, we
So
really had
It
The
never
Dark
went
Knight.
further down than number 3 then.
Brady gave it 5. And I would love for you to tell me the reason that this is your 5th favorite movie. Is it because of how young you are?
How stupid you are.
Can you remind me my top 4?
Your top 4, you put ahead of The Dark Knight Spider-Man, the movie it's going against, which is funny.
Yeah, that's fair.
Endgame, Harry Potter 7, and Lord of the Rings. You put ahead of The Dark Knight.
Spider-Man is my favorite superhero of all time. So
Why?
No Way Home was just my number 1. I just grew up loving Spider-Man.
And you got to see 3 Spider-Men.
Exactly. It
Fun.
was just
How
peak,
great for
peak
you.
cinema.
Yeah.
But Lord of the Rings, when I watched it, was also really, really
Doesn't seem
good.
like he would keep going. You're good.
Yeah,
Don't
I
interrupt
just-
Brady. He doesn't get to talk much.
I watched Lord of the Rings with other people, I watched it, and I think I watched Dark Knight not in a super big way.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I did really like it though. Heath Ledger. It was a very good movie.
Yeah. And, obviously, it was your 5th favorite out of the list of all time. So you didn't think it sucked. But yeah, the rest of us gave it either 1st or 2nd. So it was definitely in our wheelhouse. Okay. Dark Knight is an incredible movie. Nobody's going to argue that. It is our national champion in our, what do we call it? March Movie Madness.
That's the one.
Yeah. That sounds
Hit
off the
cheer
tongue.
button.
It
Hit
sounds
the cheer
great.
button.
Yeah. Let's cheer about it. Go ahead. You can do it too.
Touch
Why
it
don't you do
too.
it too. Just,
Don't tug on it.
Don't do that.
I don't like the way you did it, but I'm glad you,
I
flick it.
got a little
Just
excited.
give it
I
a
don't
little
like the
flip.
way either you're doing it, to be
All right.
real honest.
The Dark Knight wins 82-77. It was a good final.
Oh, yeah.
It was a good final. I want to remind everybody that these movies didn't play basketball against each other. This is all for fun.
If you were really looking for that, when
Yeah.
did that happen?
When did these movies actually play basketball? They didn't. This is all for fun.
Christian Bale's Batman dunking on Thanos.
Yeah,
I'd pay to see that.
yeah, it's good. What else is happening like real time? So, Shazam came out. Shazam 2. Fury of the
came
Gods.
Yeah,
Came
it's
out
all-
Friday. And I think a lot of people were down on it because of what we already know about the DC universe going forward.
Yeah.
They had kind of a surprise cameo from Gal Gadot in the end of it. She wasn't part of the end credits, but she was part of the end of the movie. I don't want to spoil it for too many of you, but she plays an important role in the end. I think that'll be the last time you see Gal Gadot.
Okay.
I think so. It's not for sure. They haven't confirmed that, but they already canceled Wonder Woman 3. Patty Jenkins is furious. She's the director of the first two. I think that you have to go in a different direction because he's already recasting Superman and Batman. Makes no sense for Gal Gadot to then be the Wonder Woman to these younger Superman and Batman. I just don't see a world where maybe you could do an Elseworlds where she's Wonder Woman. Maybe when they do Kingdom Come, because they're going to do Kingdom Come.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she's Wonder Woman in Kingdom Come. That would be fun.
Are they still? Is Aquaman 2 still on the table?
Yes, that's coming out in December.
So are they going to recast Jason Momoa? Sorry,
I think so, but not because he didn't do anything wrong.
No,
I think he's actually very eager to play Lobo.
His co-star is what is mucking that up for
Well,
him,
that's for darn. But they've talked about him playing Lobo, which I think would be fantastic.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's one of Zach's favorite comic book characters. Lobo's awesome.
I don't know much.
You
about
love
him.
Lobo.
I know.
Do you even know who Lobo is?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, I
That
thought
was really funny. I was like,
have
I
I
said that before?
You have said that.
I like the character a lot. Yeah.
I know the
He's
gist
like
of
an
him.
intergalactic rock star. Why would you not like him? Don't tell me you haven't told me that. You have. You've totally said that.
Are they still doing the Batman 2?
Yes.
I know they're doing Joker 2, but
yes. So there's so many Batmen in the DC universe right now. It's silly.
They need to do a No Way Home for Batman.
That's kind of what the Flash is going to be.
The Council of Batman.
So the Flash, that we saw a pretty decent trailer of the Flash, and it's going to be Ben Affleck's send off. No more Ben Affleck Batman. Okay. Then you're going to have Michael Keaton, who gets one last hurrah as the Dark Knight. Honestly,
Classic.
I don't know. I swear to you, this was their intention before James Gunn. I hope he still does it. They would be foolish to not let Michael Keaton be the Batman in Batman Beyond. He needs to be Bruce Wayne in Batman Beyond. That would be a missed opportunity. Let a new Terry McGinnis in live action, let him be the mentor. That would be fantastic.
I think Ben Affleck could do that too effectively.
He could, but who looks older?
Oh yeah, but
I mean, obviously Michael Keaton's much older. He's the more appropriate age for
an old Batman.
For an old Bat.
Grand Bat.
Grand Bat.
This is my grand bat. We go fishing.
But in a dream world, dream casting, I would absolutely make Michael Keaton like
I'd be okay
Batman
with either
Beyond.
one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
And what a great send off that would be, like, because they're teasing him, they're using his multiverse, to bring in Tim Burton's world. I think it'd be kind of cool if you saw like Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman, so we can see what the heck happened to Catwoman. Because we kind of got left. Batman Returns got left in the dust. We don't know what happened to her.
Yeah.
It'd be a nice little nod if maybe in the movie he mentioned something about it. Stuff like that. I'm just nostalgic for Michael Keaton being Batman again. I think it'll be awesome. Having said that, can't stand the Flash actor. We've already said this. He's a piece of human scum, and there's no getting around it. He's just one of those psycho, weirdo Hollywood elites that thinks that they can just be absolutely disgusting. And that's all I'm going to say about it. I hope they recast him, and we get a new DC.
I can't imagine a world where they don't recast Ezra Miller after this movie.
Yeah.
I can't. I'd be shocked.
They're using his movie to propel the new DC universe. You mark my words. You're going to get some kind of conclusion at the end where we get launched into a new universe run by James Gunn.
That would be a missed opportunity if they don't. Like at the end of the movie, say the Flash blew up the timeline or whatever he's going to do with time travel.
He does that a lot.
Yeah. So use that for the next set of DC movies. Like, hey, here's James Gunn's universe starting now.
Right. And to answer you guys' question about like the Batman with Robert Pattinson, they're going to do a trilogy just like The Dark Knight.
Good.
But it's going to be on its own, which I'm a little sad about, but at the same time, at least it's going to be good.
I mean, it's not a problem for.
That means they
Christian
can
Bale's
keep the tone the way they want to keep it, which I like. I think that's the problem with Marvel.
Yeah.
But I do want a Batman that's going to go from this page to this page. I do want a Batman that's going to jump in with Superman. I think that's what they're building towards. So we are going to have a third Batman.
I feel like that's
uncasted yet. They haven't casted it yet.
I feel like that's hard to do in the movie. Like in the comic books, it's easy to have Batman just be the same because you don't have to worry about actor portrayal,
right?
Or tone of the movie. Like if Batman gets a cameo in a comedy movie, but he's being like super dark and brooding, it doesn't fit. So they're gonna mold Batman to fit more in that movie.
Yeah,
I think that's detrimental to the character.
I agree. But what you're going to get is Robert Pattinson Batman, Joaquin Phoenix Joker, different worlds separate from James Gunn.
But I have faith in James Gunn's casting, though, if he has any say in it for the next universe. So
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm not gonna pass judgment until I see the product in front of
It's
me.
way too early to say, yeah, it's gonna be terrible.
So that's gonna do it for us. You got any final thoughts, Zach?
Not really. It was a good tournament.
It was a good tournament.
Yeah, that was really
Dark
good.
Knight wins it all.
Yep.
Respect to all the players.
Yes, it was a well-fought battle.
Respectfully, no cap.
Yep.
No cap, for real, for real.
Yeah.
For real.
On God. Let's move on. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
See you, kids.
Hey, thanks for sticking around for this part. Want to thank our sponsor tonight, ShamWow. Still relevant. Holds 10 times its weight in liquid. Easily removes cola, wine, and pet stains. Thank you, ShamWow. Also, almost a Josh McRoberts, the basketball player. Sean McRoberts for the music, as always. And for everybody that has anything to do with this podcast, thank you for the support. You want to say anything? Or you just cut out? All right, that's it.
What are you talking about?
We will see you on the next one.